Today's topic, what we're going to dive into and discuss is the world's thing against black women. Like this thing that the world seems to have when it comes to particularly successful black women. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of LOFT Talk. This is the 20th episode. We are officially at a month's worth of episodes. For me, that's big because I've never been this consistent with something that I like, something that I took into my own hands. I've never been this consistent with anything regarding the internet, YouTube, anything like that. So this is I do it, like I said, I do it 5 days a week. So 5 times 4 is 20. It's 20 episodes in. That's a month's worth. Now, like I said yesterday, I was gonna give myself a pat on the back. This is me giving myself a pat on the back right here. Pat on the back. Today's topic, what we're going to dive into and discuss is the world's thing against black women. Like this thing that the world seems to have when it comes to particularly successful black women. Not just your average Joe black woman, which, you know, they deserve all the love as well, but successful black women. I think that the world has a habit of, they love the underdog story, or black women are at the bottom of the totem pole and it's so difficult for them to get treated the right way like everybody else gets treated. And when you see them break through that difficult threshold and they become successful, you're praising them, you're glad they're successful, as long as they don't get too successful. I feel like the world is okay with black women being a little bit successful, maybe even really successful. But once you start getting astronomically successful, like you seem to be out of this world, they start to get mad at that. Like they don't want to see you be abnormally successful and they don't want an out of this world talent or an out of this world person with this out of this world charisma to be too successful for them. When a black woman starts to get successful on a white man's level, when black women reach white men's success, I'm doing air quotes for white men's success, right? They don't like that. They can't handle that. They want to remind you of who you are. Jay-Z said it in the song, "Time to Remind Me I'm Black Again," huh? Y'all can go look up the song and for context to understand what he's talking about more. But if you get it, right? While Jay-Z's a black man, that applies to black women as well, if not more, right? It's time to remind black women they're black. They're black women. Not only are you black, but you're a black woman at that. So you're a double minority, right? Too often the world likes to remind black women that they're a double minority and basically to go sit down somewhere when they start getting too successful. And a couple of examples of that is obviously Beyonce, second Shirley Ralph. I'm gonna start with Beyonce though, because I mean that's the obvious one. That when we think of a successful black woman, a successful famous entertainer black woman, we think of Beyonce, right? Even for Beyonce, as successful as she is, as many Grammys as she's won, they still find ways to humble her or to attempt to humble her. I feel like they need to humble her. I say that because there was an article that came out a couple days after the Grammys, or maybe even the day after the Grammys, where I don't remember the guy's name. If I can find it by the time I edit this video, I'll put it up somewhere around here in the description box. But he said they didn't want to vote for Beyonce. Him and a couple of his colleagues or other voters in the Grammy Academy or whatever the case may be, didn't want to vote for Beyonce to win Album of the Year or whatever the award was, because Beyonce always wins. Every time Beyonce steps out, it's an event and it's this big thing, something along those lines. I know I'm not quoting it word for word, but like I said, it'll be somewhere on the screen or in the description box so you can go see it word for word. And it just put things into perspective, which you kind of already know, but to hear somebody say like, so basically you think Beyonce is getting too big for her britches and you want her to be humbled. You want to let her know she can't win everything. If she successfully did it, she's great at it, and she fairly beat out her opponents, then why does she deserve the award or the accolades or the recognition, right? No matter how much recognition she's already gotten in her career. I feel like you're doing it because she's a black woman, because let that be a white man, you wouldn't have even said that. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble a white man. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble even a white woman. 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble them unless you had personal beef with them because they did something to you or you did something or whatever the case may be. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble a white artist that's already won plenty of awards. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble Madonna. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble Katy Perry. You wouldn't have felt the need to humble Lady Gaga, whoever else, whatever other big white female artist or even male artists. Y'all wouldn't feel the need to humble Sam Smith. Y'all wouldn't feel the need to humble Harry Styles. Y'all wouldn't feel the need to humble Justin Timberlake. You get what I'm saying? But because like all of a sudden Beyonce wins so much, so you want to humble her? So basically you saying she did exceptionally well and she deserved this award or was in good running for the award, but you intentionally did not give it to her or allow her to get it because she's a black woman. You didn't say that flat out, but what else could it be? Because why would you want to punish somebody for winning so much, for being so great at their craft? That does not make sense, right? And I feel like they do it, and this is about black women, but I do want to highlight the fact that they do it to her husband as well. They do it to Jay-Z. I've been following Jay-Z's career since I knew how to speak English, since I ever first heard hip hop. They've done it to him since the beginning. Like he said in the song, "Time to remind me I'm black again," huh? They do this to black people and do it even worse to black women to humble us and remind us that we are the minority. We are the guest in America, right? We're the guest in any industry we're in, according to them, right? Now, I know that we are, that's a whole nother podcast, but I know that we do exceptionally well. Let's just say that. But like I said, that's a whole nother podcast. Whether Beyonce won Album of the Year or not, it's not really about that. It's more so about what was said after. And I know if that man felt that way and that's the reason he didn't vote for her, then there's definitely multiple people that felt that way and that probably have felt that way in the past about other black artists and probably will feel that way in the future. And that's a problem. Why can't black women be just as great and just as successful as their white counterparts and get awarded 1,000 times over if they have to because they just did that great, right? That doesn't make sense to me. Well, it makes perfect sense. You're racist. Let's just say it. Now, Shirley Ralph, I seen a TikTok today where somebody made a comment and said Shirley Ralph was exhausting. In context, was insinuating that she was doing too much and she was just, her personality and herself, her talent, her everything was just too much, over the top, right? And that's crazy to me because before Shirley Ralph's star got bigger, before she elevated even more in her career, you would never catch nobody really saying that about Shirley Ralph. And I'm not at every corner of the world, so I don't know specifically, but generally you wouldn't hear anybody saying anything like that about Shirley Ralph, right? But as soon as black women start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and they have their moment, it's like, okay, oh, you're doing great. But once the general public or some people in the general public feel like, all right, I've had enough. You're doing too great for too long. People are loving you too long. You start to hear these hate comments start to slowly, gradually pour in. And then you start to hear people say things like they're too much or they're doing too much. Or then they start getting, if it's not that, it's, oh, they're a capitalist because now they're too rich. Now you're feeding into capitalism and we hate you for that. Which is crazy because you didn't care about capitalism and the whole structure of all of that until this person. You don't talk about that on a regular. You get what I'm saying? And like capitalism, that whole thing's a whole nother conversation, but I'm just using that as an example. Why is it that when a black woman does her thing, she expresses herself and expresses her talent, and then she becomes successful at it, and she gets bigger and bigger in artistry and gets bigger and bigger in, like, her star just brightens, it's now a problem. Why don't we as a society know that that's jealousy? It's envy, it's jealousy, and it's hatred. Why don't we as a society see that? And I needed to stop, personally. We all needed to stop. Some people hear conversations and hear viewpoints like mine, like what I'm telling y'all right now, and they feel like, oh, you just want somebody to stop doing something because it'll benefit you, or they look at it like, that's not my business. I'm not a black woman. I'm not a black person at all, maybe. And so that ain't got nothing to do with me. But the thing is, it has to do with all of us. Black women are a part of this society, just like all of us. And let's be real. Black women have their finger on the pulse of the culture. They are the culture. Black women are the culture. They guide and lead all of this. Black culture is the culture. Black culture and black people push the needle in everything. And I mean everything. I don't care what y'all got to say. Y'all can say what y'all want. Black people lead in sports, entertainment, music, all of that other stuff, right? It's some stuff that we need to get together on the back end because of years of oppression. And so it's a whole nother podcast. So many other podcasts coming, obviously. But black people as a unit, we lead the world. We set the example in trends, in fashion, in music, in the way people speak and talk. And then people go and steal it and copy it and do whatever else. But we lead that, right? So if we as black people lead that, in the black community, black women lead that. So black women lead the group that's leading. You know what I'm saying? Black women are tastemakers in the culture altogether. Black women set the hair trends, they set the nail trends, they set the music trends. Believe it or not, even for male hip hop artists. Think about the biggest or the most popular or your favorite male hip hop artist. Think about Future. Think about Roddy Ricch. Think about Jay-Z. Think about all of these people. These people, a lot of them will have a bunch of women in the studio while they make their music. They'll have a bunch of women in the studio for inspiration, right? To use as a muse or whatnot, because they know black women are tastemakers. So a lot of this music that y'all hear that gets released by these male rappers, a lot of time was influenced by what a woman in the studio thought. If he played the beat and he played his little melody to the beat and, you know, the reference track or whatever, and he seen that the girls was in there vibing to it, then he's probably going to go with that track to add to the album or whatever, right? Or to release as a single. Not only are they tastemakers in that way, but when all the slangs like it's giving this and it's giving that or on fleek, we know a black woman, like we know the specific black woman that created the on fleek phrase, right? So many other things that black women create, and then it goes from the black community and then outward, right? It goes from black women, then it spreads to black men and just all the other different groups in the black community. And then from there, it branches out into other parts of the world. Then once it touches the white world, that's when it gets overly used. And then it's just everywhere. And now people see it as, oh, that's an American thing. Oh, that's American slang. No, it's black people slang. And 9 times out of 10, it was created and invented by a black woman. Black women just lead the pack. Not only that, black women lead the pack in education as well. Black women are the highest educated group of people in the world. I know in America for sure. Don't quote me on in the world. I'm pretty sure it's in the world, but I know for sure in America, they graduate at a higher rate than any other group, any other minority, any other group, not even just minority. That's like compared to white women, compared to white men, black women exceed everybody in education, right? In academics. Even Lizzo, I feel like y'all did it with Lizzo a while back. When Lizzo first came out, everything was cool. And then like shortly after her star started to brighten, people didn't mind calling her fat. People didn't mind disrespecting her. People didn't mind going in on her because, oh, she's so big now. She's such a huge celebrity that, I can say anything negative about her. She's rich and famous. She has the dream life. I can say, and that's another thing. Y'all think that these black women are invincible because black women are so strong. You can't just go around saying disrespectful things about black women and just spewing hate at them and expecting them to just accept it. Ain't nothing right about that. I need y'all to figure out, it's not hard to figure out, it's not rocket science, but I need y'all to figure out how to stop disrespecting black women and how to stop being 3,000 times harder on black women than y'all are on anybody else in any other category of the world, entertainment, corporate, whatever the case may be. Black women get it the most difficult. Like I said, even the biggest black woman star, the biggest star, period, but the biggest black woman star in the world, Beyonce, still has it difficult. All that work she put in to be where she is, she still has it difficult. And I know that one, and for the naysayers and the people that want to play devil's advocate, I know that Beyonce's probably not too phased. Like she goes home, she has a happy family, she's rich. So her life is probably great in many ways, right? But just for the example that it sets, for the people that's coming up behind her, for the people that are already here, it sucks. Y'all need to figure out a way to respect black women because clearly it's difficult for y'all, but I need y'all to hurry up and figure it out. But that's it for this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we on a roll. Here's to another month of Loft Talk. Subscribe, like, comment. If you were entertained by this and you have a thought to share, go ahead and feel free to comment in the comment section. If you were entertained by this or a thought was sparked in your head by this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel and turn that notification bell on because we just getting started. We 1 month down. We got another month to go and another month and more months and just more time. More videos, more content, more podcast episodes. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Peace.